Okay, so another story that I looked into, and this is one that seems like it's still somewhat developing, so I don't want to get too much into the details, but you guys are familiar with coinmarketcap.com, right? You'd have to be living under, well, I'm not going to go there because some of the audience members probably don't know what it is. So if you're wondering, if you want to look at some statistics for cryptocurrency, you wanted to be able to look at them quickly, see a bunch of charts, compare them, see if they're green or red, they're going up and down, what's the market cap at, what's the price at. A lot of people go to coinmarketcap.com. In fact, if you're in front of your computer, you can go ahead and take a look. It's a very visually appealing user interface, and you can really take in a lot of information about it or about cryptocurrencies very quickly. But one of the things that I saw recently was that there are essentially some I would say relatively serious allegations that have been posted against the site. It seems that there are reservations about how they are accounting for some of the statistics. That includes circulating supply was one of the big ones that they were pointing out. Essentially, they were saying that since CoinMarketCap, I guess the people who are in charge of it have been very, how would you say, not transparent. It's kind of like they're kind of like mysterious, right? And when they have, how would I say it? When they have like 1,500, I think they have some like 1,500 coins on there. That means that somehow they have to try to collect live data for 1,500 different currencies, 1,500 different projects or more, try to be able to count, for example, how many units of the currencies are actually in circulation. And that by itself, okay, what does in circulation even mean, right? So because sometimes there's a project and it's a currency project and the organization that's kind of decentralized but is kind of spearheading it. Maybe they have some, maybe they're using some. Like at what point is something considered, how would you say it, circulating? So there's kind of like a big question about, okay, well, for starters, how do you even decide what is considered circulating and what is not? But then there's also the question of, okay, so let's say they're getting their information for Litecoin from a website. And that website has an API, right? So the website feeds people data, and then let's say that website goes down. Then the question becomes, okay, well now where do you get your circulating supply from? Do you use the supply that you had last, or do you just put a question mark in there? And they're finding that even if it's almost like they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. So if, for example, they say, okay, let's put in a question mark because we're not really sure where the circulating supply is right now, what they're finding is just by putting that question mark in there, it affects the market cap, the calculated market cap, and that causes how would you say it? That causes the actual currency itself to plummet. And part of that is because so many people are using coinmarketcap.com in order to get their statistics. And now it turns out that when they're making changes related to the statistics, at least according to, let's see who the actual, okay, I don't know if there's an actual name on the person that wrote this article. They just go by the username CoinMarketCapped. So kind of like Goxed, right? Or Bitfinexed, right? But they're saying that based on the activity that they're seeing for currencies, they're saying that they are accusing the staff of coinmarketcap.com of, how would I say this, of trading based on information that they have and doing trading, essentially kind of like insider trading, making strategic moves with their reserves before they take specific actions on their website. Does that make sense? They're essentially taking advantage of their role.
They're delaying the information to the public and then moving on it beforehand.
So I guess I'll make this a little bit more of an abstract question. Do you think it's an issue that this specific website has as much use as it does? Because I haven't really seen. I know that there are competitors out there, but I never really thought there was an issue with CoinMarketCap.com. But obviously, reading something like this makes me wonder.
I mean, I wouldn't use it for like basing my trades off of.
Right.
I mean, obviously, whatever exchange you're on is where you're going to base your trades off of, right?
Right.
Or other live market exchanges if you're doing ARB. But like, I think that it's probably, I mean, if they're doing it and it's really actually causing exchanges to fluctuate in their pricing, then yeah, that's messed up, and they should be held accountable for that, and they should have better practices. internally. But I think if it's just a point of reference to be like, oh, what's the approximate price right now? Like, it's probably not that big of a deal. So it needs to say like for amusement purposes only or something like
A little disclaimer, a little
a pop-up.
yeah,
Click here, you accept these terms,
just
right?
to cover their bases. That I wouldn't be surprised if you see that soon, right? But then again, if it's something where no one knows where who they are or exactly where they are based out of, then maybe they'll just keep it going and see how long they can ride this out. Jackson, is this a website that you use? Do you use it often? Or you're probably at least familiar with it, right?
Yeah, I try to stay away from the price at all times just because it's stressful anyway.
Especially right now.
Yeah, but I do use CoinMarketCap fairly frequently. I do try to use coincap.com, which I believe is put out by the same people that do Shapeshift.
Okay.
Which it's another very clean site. It's not as popular, but it
.io.
seems. Oh, you're right. It's coincap.io. Sorry about that. But I just think it's really interesting that like a lot of people that started in Bitcoin as like the libertarian camp wanted this decentralized, unregulated currency. But a lot of these things that come with an unregulated currency are not ideal either. Like having
like quote unquote insider trading, right?
yeah, having information that isn't equal across the entire market can have a big effect. And if you have a huge site, which apparently CoinMarketCap.com is the biggest site in crypto, like it gets the most visitors of all sites in the crypto industry.
Yeah, I heard somebody saying that they were going to they wanted to put a banner ad for an ICO that they were going to launch on there, and it was $50,000 a day.
Yeah, that's
That
a lot.
is a lot of visitors.
And you gotta think they probably have maybe multiple banners as well too.
Like, I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So yeah,
We're in the wrong business.
maybe they are. I mean, maybe they are incentivized because they're like making a couple $100,000 a day, right? And they're like, well, we got all this money, we got all this information. Maybe someone got greedy, like it doesn't take too much to put the dots, to connect the dots, and someone could probably check pretty easily and see like where those funds were moving and how often they were moving and what markets moved, right?
Yep. I think it's interesting that like most of these projects that start in the Bitcoin crypto space are just started in a garage. One person like, I want to do a little bit of a trading app or something like that. It seems like one of the most common things that people make. And then this one took off. Like as it started growing, at like what point did they start to have a responsibility to like report things like accurately? Like
right.
If you have a site that you made in your backyard and it goes, your garage, and it goes down and stops reporting prices accurately, and it's reporting Bitcoin prices that are off by like $100 or something like that. Like, are you responsible for that, or is it just something you made in your garage and who cares if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
What point did it switch over where like they're responsible?
Yeah, and I think there is kind of that Go ahead.
When some idiot decided that they were going to use that information to base a trade off of,
Right.
Like, oh, well, I got this guy online who said he's going to give me this and this price, and go look at CoinMarketCap,
Yeah, I feel like, well, for example, with CoinMarketCap, when they're like a token would not be listed, but then when they were going to list it, like they, the allegation is that they would probably buy a bunch of the tokens. Then they would list it. Then that means the demand would go up because then people would find out that this token exists. And at that point, if CoinMarketCap, if their staff had bought enough, then they would, be jumping up 70%. I saw this so many times. So many people, especially when they're new to crypto, they say, oh man, how about that IOTA? How about that Tron? How about that, this coin, that coin? I'm like, dude, it already went up. Like, this is not how you do it. Like, you're too late. Like, get over it. Those, I guess when you're new, you don't really know these sorts of things. I will say that although I do look at the prices, I don't stress too much about them. And when I see things move too quickly, I generally assume that it's some sort of manipulation. I think that's the name of the game. I mean, you have to go in. This is a buyer beware market. And like you said, no one's forcing anyone to use this website. And people a big part of the space is that people don't want regulation. So there is that kind of buyer beware part of it. And I think that things are better off that way. And I think when you have something like this where there are allegations, that's good. This is kind of the market kind of regulating itself to a certain extent, right?
Yeah. I came into Bitcoin under that I want an unregulated currency and the government's not doing a great job with it, and I want everything to be unregulated. But I don't feel like the market does a very good job of punishing bad actors.
Not yet at least. Are you enjoying the Captain Crypto show? We've only been around for about 6 months and creating videos for only about 2 months. But in that short time period, we've been able to take our ragtag crew and start building a fleet to bring you the freshest and most critical information from the new world of cryptocurrency. But we can't do it without your help. If you like our content, consider liking this video, sharing it with some of your closest mateys, and even consider hitting the subscribe button. Although we do include our cryptocurrency addresses in the descriptions for these videos, the truth is, me and my crew prefer not to beg for our coin. After all, plundering is more the pirate's way. So hit that subscribe button and come join us on this adventure.